had to do, because 90% of their revenue is from ads, right? They have had to literally come up with new ways to place ads, new ways for our eyeballs, consumers, users, to place our eyeballs. And so some of those are, the additional placements include video ads, which is awesome news for all of us here at Broadcaster Authority in doing more and more and more with video. Now that they are working on ways to monetize and where you get paid the rev share, the 40-60 rev share, similar to YouTube, but you won't be paying your rent or your mortgage anytime soon with what you earn on the Facebook ad monetization. Although I will tell you, friends, it's really cool because there's actually entrepreneurs right now who are collecting 6-figure checks a month from Facebook ad monetization. Okay, so those are major pages. Like there's one called Recipes. Rachel Farnsworth, the stay-at-home chef. Check her out on the Watch platform. Amazing. So Recipes is really popular on the Facebook Watch platform. The others are stories. I'm going to really talk a lot about stories today and having ads, because the beautiful thing about stories is that there's endless number. There's not like a limit. It's not like only so much inventory with it, similar to Newsfeed. And then Messenger ads. So these are just some new placements for where you can get attention, you can reach your audience. So what Zuckerberg's saying now, in March of this year, kind of almost like out of the blue, he penned this 3,200-word privacy manifesto. It honestly seemed to come out of the blue. Those of us experts and people in the business are like, wait, wow, where did this come from? Zuckerberg's saying that he really sees the future of communication increasingly shifting to private. He's an absolute stickler for encryption, where people can be confident what they say to each other stays secure, and that their messages and content won't stick around forever. That's one of his favorite quotes, is about not sticking around forever. What that means is the ephemerality. It's the disappearing content that basically Instagram initially directly copied from Snapchat, and now obviously on Facebook as well. It's been over 2 years. Really, really popular format. We will talk about that in a moment. But you know, Chris Cox actually, I don't have this in my slides, but he left Facebook back in not long after that whole privacy thing. Chris Cox he was a long time chief product officer for like 10 years, and he does not agree with this whole encryption thing. And there's a lot. That's another thing you can Google in your own time if you're interested. But there's these two camps in terms of, is encryption a good thing or is it not so good? Now, Messenger, I don't know if you know this, but your Messenger is not encrypted. You know, Facebook can read your messages, but guess what? Google reads your Gmail. How do we know? Because there's personalized ads in there, right? So it's like this whole area of data. There's on the one hand, as a user, we're like, our data. On the other hand, as marketers, we're like, cool, data. We can target people based on personal data, right? So it's like having this healthy relationship with what is. Now then, Facebook, historically, they acquire competitors, right? They bought Instagram, they bought WhatsApp. They tried in vain many times to buy Snapchat. Snapchat's not for sale. Then, if they can't acquire a competitor, they just outright copy the feature, like the stories, right? So, and now what's a big threat, and Zuckerberg just mentioned it on, was it Thursday morning when he did his talk about freedom of speech from Georgetown University, he called out TikTok. Now, if you don't know, how many of you are TikTokers? Oh my gosh. Okay. Where is that? Is Abigail here? She's not in the room. TR star. So I know, because I love that you all raise your hands. Holy smokes. I got to get with the program. I'm not TikTok. I don't know. Who's that? Oh, Randy Zuckerberg said it last night, or a private Q&A. Somebody said, brought up TikTok, and she's like, this is from Randy, I think she's like 37 or something. And she's like, I got a few years on her. She's like, sometimes you just have to recognize you're too old for some of these apps. Or it's not the age, it's really more about time, and it's about where is your audience. If you're targeted like really young, Gen Z, 20s and under, teenage audience, have that. Go crazy with your TikTok. What I've seen some people do, and it's short form video, that those of you don't know, it's out of China. because that is a thing that ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, is as marketers, I've been saying this for, I'm not kidding, 2 years. We must keep an eye on WeChat and TikTok and any other apps coming out of China, because they have the ability to just really dominate in the US market without us necessarily kind of like noticing until like all of a sudden. Like TikTok was the #1 downloaded app across all apps this past year. So when you look at Facebook as a family of apps, the big four, right, including the 2 they acquired years ago, Instagram and WhatsApp, then let's not forget too the Watch platform. And we'll talk quite a bit about video today, of course, with the little blue TV icon. That's the Watch platform, and they're really determined to becoming a major player in the digital streaming television industry, competing with Amazon Prime TV, competing with Netflix, definitely competing with YouTube. Zuckerberg has actually called out YouTube a few times as being their main competitor when it comes to video, not as a social network, of course. And then you've got the live. The live for sure is a really great feature. I love Randy's story about how she created it on one of the hackathons. Then you've got groups. Facebook groups, huge emphasis that Facebook's really going all in groups in the last couple of years. They have physical events called the Community Summit. And if you happen to run a big group, it's not big, but a really highly engaged group, niche group, you could well find yourself being invited to that Community Summit. And then you've got Marketplace, which also has, have like 800 million users in Marketplace alone. It's become one of the top places in the US for buying and selling cars, which blows my mind. I don't know who's on there buying a car. I want to test drive a car, but I know there's markets for everything. So anyway, combined, Facebook has its strength. Now, even if this antitrust movement came in and they made them break off Instagram, they made them break off WhatsApp, they're still incredibly strong and incredibly powerful. And what I don't even have up here is like Oculus, right? What they're doing with AR and VR, what they have with the Portal, now they're calling it the Portal family of apps because it's the in-home video chat device like the Amazon Echo. But now, it's a little creepy, but you could actually have your Portal where you're watching streaming shows on your mainstream big television, and it has a forward-facing camera. So now I'm getting way ahead of myself here because I want you to catch a glimpse of what's possible as a marketer. You're watching TV, and you bring in some of your friends or clients, and they're on the site, almost like picture-in-picture, and you're all watching the same show or the same broadcast, like a watch party. And now you can dialogue with them and interact with them. You can pause the video. It's like having a virtual video night, a virtual viewing party. Now, what's even going to be coming, but we'll see if we get off the ground with Libra or not. Libra is facing a lot of opposition. That's their cryptocurrency, if you haven't heard, but that's probably way in the future. But at some point, you're going to see the ability to be able to just touch screen and make a purchase. You know, a video ad pops up and you can be able to buy. So incredible power in the entire Facebook family of apps. Now then, I'm going to shift gears a little bit here because as marketers, how many of you were on Facebook in 2006? Okay, 2007? Keep your hands up. 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. 11, 12 onwards, yeah. But I was just curious how many of you kind of were there early in the day. Facebook 2004, look at you. Were you right there at college? You must have had a .edu. Yes, well, so the first 2 years, 04 to 06, only open to schools, right, colleges. And then 06, it opened it to the public. As marketers, we always knew for some time, man alive, we had it good back in 2010, 11, 12, 13. From 10 to 13. And then, how many of you are familiar with this book? Who Moved My Cheese? Okay, great, awesome. Those of you not, it's a cool business book about how we manage change. Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. It's a cute little parable, and it's about 2 little mice and 2 little people, and they live in this cool maze, and it has an abundant supply of their favorite food, which is cheese, and they move their homes there, their families, and they're like, oh my gosh, we're in heaven, and they do not notice that that supply of cheese is dwindling down eventually to nothing. And so they have to figure out, oh gosh, should we set up home somewhere else? Do we change our diet? Do we make our own cheese? Basically, how do you deal with change? And what happened with Facebook is we all got used to organic reach. You could get 100, 200, 300% organic reach. You make a post on your business page, and you could obviously have it be seen by more than who were fans on your page. Now look what happens. When you make a post on your Facebook page, absolutely crickets. Nada. Nothing, zip, zilch, nobody's seeing it. Oopsie-daisy. Organic reach, on average, is between 1 and 6%. Holy moly. That's the reality check. A little cheese wheel. So the cheese has moved that when you make a post on your Facebook page, roughly 1 to 6 people, 1 to 6 out of every 100 people are seeing your post. But there's some, there's good news. Now, that's the bad news. I'll give you some good news. The cheese, if you will, that's been moving is our audience, right? We're used to reaching them in the newsfeed. We got used to reaching them through organic reach. But now, like I say, that is what's changing. And the good news is you can't be a happy meat man. See? Jumping on your cheese. If using my methodologies, which I'll show you in a moment, I can actually get as much as 65% organic reach. So that's the real stats from one of my own posts not long back. And so I'll teach you some of this just now. It's what I call my Mari method. And first of all, we do need to remember that Facebook and all social channels, all channels that are not your own, are rented land. So you definitely want to be collecting email addresses. And shortly I'll get to a section talking about doing messenger automation as well. So with this methodology, as I call it my Mari method, as I say, let's show you this couple of steps here. You want to start with a great piece of content. Okay, that's what you're all in essence. Gary Vaynerchuk said this like a decade ago, longtime friend of mine, and he's like, we're all in the business of content creation. And the good news is with Facebook, video gets the best organic reach and the best organic engagement. And when you start to put a little ad budget behind your video, it gets, it's one of the most inexpensive ways to generate an audience. It's called an engagement custom audience that you can then retarget. So live, if you can, go live, because Facebook Live gets 6 times the engagement than non-live. 6 times engagement. So you start with a great piece of great piece of video content live if you can. Now, I like to leave it up there for between 1 and 24 hours, because if I immediately turn it into an ad, I go into Ads Manager and I start putting money onto it, it's going to have that telltale little sponsored sign. I like it to show up in the newsfeed as long as it can, and just as an organic post, gathering some organic traction, some social proof. Of course, now Facebook's hiding, right? You all know that. You heard, if you haven't heard, that Facebook is hiding the like counts, the reaction counts, and even the video views. Instagram's doing it more. Instagram's got it in 6 countries are hiding the like counts. Honestly, when we think about this from the stories perspective, I'll get to that in the next section. Stories have always had private metrics. The metrics on stories are not public facing. So that's all it is. If we just think of our content as like, well, okay, we can see the metrics, but it's not visible to the public. And supposedly it's a mental health play, supposedly because there are literally Gen Zers, the 20s and under, the teenagers, that will get physically traumatized, certainly emotionally traumatized, when they don't get the number of likes that they feel like they should be getting. So anyway, I like to get a little bit of, quote, social proof, leave it for 1 to 24 hours. Now I'm going to go into Ads Manager, not the boost button. Stay away from the boost button. Use the boost button maybe for 10% of your ad budget. So go in to Ads Manager. The cool thing is with the video is now it's going to append, it's going to add onto your live a clickable call to action button. And then part of what I call my Mari method is I don't give Facebook, let's say I had a $300 ad budget for a post, maybe I'm going to give that in like $100 increments over several days or a week. Next, this is a quick example. This is what I mean. So where do you see that Learn More button? Or that whole gray area underneath my video, all of that is clickable, right, or tappable on mobile. So, 125,000 views. This is a great example of where this is actually a lot of work I do as a brand ambassador. Like, I get paid to do my Facebook Lives, which is really kind of cool. And I always negotiate ad budget. So if someone wants me to represent their brand and it's in alignment with my values, and then I'll charge a fee for that, as well as I'll do some ads for them to reach their audience. Next, now, how many of you are familiar with custom audiences? Okay, phew, that number of you, good, just trying to get set. Those of you who are not, what it is you're going to go into Facebook Ads Manager, which is where you place all of your Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, even WhatsApp ads, and with you click on audiences, and now you can build audience are like lists of people who've already viewed a video. Like maybe they viewed 10 seconds of a video or 5 minutes of a longer video. The more seconds or minutes, like the more content someone's consumed of your video, the more they're likely, they're a hotter prospect or a warmer prospect. So as I mentioned earlier, video views is one of the least expensive, one of the most affordable ways to build what's called a custom audience, an engagement custom audience. So that these are people who viewed some of your content, and you're going to do what's called retargeting. There's also what's called website visits. You will need to have the Pixel, the Facebook Pixel installed. That's a little more advanced, but I'm telling you right now, make a note of that, some homework for you. If you don't know how to do it, get help. Hire somebody, delegate, because in order to really maximize both Facebook and Instagram, it's really important that you allocate some ad dollars. And don't just throw it in there like Vegas, whatever, slot machine. Be strategic. Have your pixel in there, do your custom audiences. The secret sauce, friends, is lookalike. Lookalike is magic. I have seen companies scale from 1 million to 3 million to 30 million in a short period of time by using lookalike audiences. And what that is you're saying to Facebook, here's my core audience. That might be people who have bought from you, your best customers, your high lifetime value customers, or people come to your events, or people downloaded an ebook, whatever it might be. You start with a base audience, and then you say to Facebook, go find me more people like this. And their magic algorithms go and do that. So that's lookalike. All right, so Facebook ads, like I say, you absolutely have to have a budget. It's a given. Out of the 90 million businesses on Facebook, only 7 million are advertisers, which I think is a big disparity. And Facebook's really wanted to be, educating. Do all these events. There's one coming up week after next here in San Diego, Boost with Facebook. You can actually just go to boostwithfacebook.com, I think it is, and you might find there's a local event. So that's Mark counting his billions there. Oh, sorry, see, Randy's not in the room, so I can't put this in here. We don't need to make fun of your brother. But this is my favorite memes. So if anybody watched the
That's funny.
Congressional hearing last year, explaining how they make money. So it's a free platform, but that's how you make ads. So somebody had fun with that little gift. I want you to meet Dr. Pete. Dr. Pete is a specialist in opioid addiction. He has a patented technology that helps people to overcome opioid in particular addiction within a very short period of time. It has 3 days. It's patented. He's up in Orange County. He's a wonderful guy, paying for you withdrawal free. So he worked with my partner, Christopher, and what we did is we did a brand new product launch, and guess what? He had a brand new Facebook page. Didn't even have any social presence, zero. I'm going to share this with you because if anybody here is kind of fairly new or you've got that big of an audience, watch this. He had 6 fans. So he had a Facebook page with 6 fans. Well, it was brand new, just built it. I think one was me, one was Christopher, one was his friend. What we did is create a Facebook event, and his initial goal was to get 20 attendees in the room at UC Irvine to give them a briefing on the latest in opioid addiction technologies, overcoming drug detox. He was attracting specifically licensed psychologists and therapists. Now I'm sure he does, again, thinking from your perspective, like who do you want to get in a room? Who's your target audience that you could target right down to the zip code, right down to the exact demographic? As I say, they had a 20 attendee goal. He spent a whopping $350 on the ads. They had 120 registrations. It was so well received, they had to get a bigger room and made $15,000 of sales led to that through connecting with these psychologists and therapists. So I share this with you because there's so much emphasis on, oh my God, I'm starting a brand new page, now I need to make my content, now I need to get fans, now I got to pay to reach those fans. You can shortcut the whole process. This is one way to do it. Of course, you're building your authority here, and you will need to get the numbers at some point. But if you get the right message to the right audience, you can shortcut that content strategy and measure the right sales goals. In Dr. Pete's case, he wanted to referral. He's building his referral network. And so it's not about, actually it's Sheryl Sandberg that calls them proxy metrics. And that is where it's actually anything that isn't actual money or leads, sales or leads, is a proxy metric. So that's reach, engagement, video views, likes, all of that stuff. And all of that is proxy metrics, or sometimes called vanity metrics. So we want to measure the important leads and sales. Now then, the future is already here. As Zuckerberg said earlier, as I said, the future is private. What I'm going to do next is show 4 areas, just 4 key areas I want you to focus on to really build your authority. The first one is not private. The number 2, 3, and 4 are private. As he said, the future is private, right? So you are building your authority. This is about broadcasting your authority. Who can tell me what the root word of authority is? Author, right? Now, friend, that doesn't mean that you're going to run out of here and strive to become a New York Times #1 best-selling author. Well, that would be nice, and I'm sure we'd all love that accolade. It is about authoring more, writing more, getting your body of knowledge out your head and out there more, writing more, speaking more, recording more, creating more, and especially through video. So ways that you're going to do that, number 1 is video. I already mentioned earlier that it actually gets the best organic reach and the best organic engagement, and it's the least expensive way to start building an audience of people who are interested in you, your product, or your service. So video, and especially live, if you can do live, because it's got the 6 times the reach, as I mentioned. One of the most successful watch platform shows is Will Smith there, but it's actually Red Table Talk with his wife, right? And it's such a genius concept for a show because it's 3 generations, right? It's Jada Pinkett Smith. I see a lot of heads nodding when you watched it, and it's kind of edgy. It's their daughter Willow, and then it's Jada's mom. And so you get the 3 generations. Really, really well done. Now then, when it comes to video, you may or may not know this, but certainly Facebook itself as an entire company has a mission statement, which is to bring the world closer together. And Zach was saying it there on Thursday, to give everybody a voice. And as Randy said, yeah, everyone has a voice. Oh crap, everyone has a voice.
Yeah.
Indeed, right? But watch this. They also have a separate mission statement for video. And that is to create shared experiences and a sense of belonging through video. That's why they really want live watch parties. If you haven't done a watch party yet, really, really want you to make a note of that, find out how it works. You can see almost every video actually has that little start a watch party. And all it is like you're hosting movie night. You get some friends over, get the popcorn, you're all going to watch the same movie. What it is that Facebook did some studies around like sentiment analysis. And they found that when people kind of sit back and they consume video content, mobile or desktop, whatever, alone, it lowers their sense of well-being. They don't feel as good about themselves, they don't feel as good about Facebook, but when they do it with other people, like the live, like the watch party, like that picture-in-picture TV experience I described, they feel their sentiment goes up, their well-being goes up. And so that's why Zuck really wants to reinvent how we consume video. Not compete with YouTube, but almost like differently from YouTube. So there's Red Table Talk there. Hang on, back for a second. So what's really cool about this, who can tell me, who knows here how long a video view is? What counts as a video view on Facebook? Does anybody know?
3 seconds.
It is, it's 3 seconds. 3 seconds. So watch this. This is Red Table Talk, as I say, this most popular show on the Watch platform, and you have gotten over 30 million views on some of these popular episodes, and I guarantee those are not 3 seconds. Some of those are 20-minute views, and which is extraordinary. Again, thinking like a marketer, thinking like a broadcaster authority video expert. Oh my gosh, you can create episodic content, and you create a highly engaged audience, and people will sit down and watch a 20-minute video. In fact, Randy's been talking about this a lot in the last several times I've seen her speak, is she says that there's this hunger, this thirst, this desire for long-form content. And in a way, it's almost like being fed by Jeff. I think it was you. Somebody said it last night about. Was it you? You're saying you know, you don't want to wait a week for the next episode. So it's like binge watch. You binge watch your Netflix. So that's similar idea here with the Watch. So you can do that. You can drop all your episodes at once. BuzzSumo did a study. They're a great content discovery engine. Video by far is the best engagement. Now let me show you 4 different examples here of my own students and clients of how they're utilizing video. This is Sonia Stringer, and her authority is women in network marketing. In particular, you can see by her cover image, busy moms. She's helping about 6- and 7-figure businesses. She does a beautiful job. Her videos, well-lit, well-produced. You can see she uses Zoom for Facebook Live.
It is Sonia Stringer coming to you live, especially to those of you connected to me here on my page on Facebook, the Business Academy for Women in Network Marketing and Direct Sales. I hope you're having a great day.
So that's just a tiny clip of Sonia, and she does extremely well. And she has what's called a show page, and you can do that. You can change your page to be a show page or a video page and feature like that. Let's look at Lara, completely different niche. And she's taken my courses and gone through and created her whole studio. It doesn't have to be a big fancy one. She is an animal behaviorist. She's got her own center in Ohio. She's super fun. She's such a quirky personality. So this, I'm going to show you this whole, like where you see Coffee with the Critters. You can see above that she's done 149 episodes. And she's actually picture-in-picture right now. The bottom there with the bird on her head. But she's sharing her desktop, so the whole thing is actually the video.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters. I am here with my co-host today, Cello, who is my hairdresser, and I can't believe I'm going live looking like this, but this is what he's doing to my hair today. He's pushed my glasses, my sunglasses, down on top of my reading glasses, and it's totally ruined my hair. I have a party I need to go to today, so please.
That's Lara. She's a hoot. And see what I mean? It's like she's doing her passion. She's doing what she loves, and she's reaching this wider audience by using her Facebook Live and doing that episodic content. Another example here. This is Fiona Clark. She's out of the UK. Another random niche. She is an expert and has authority in painting vintage furniture. And she actually went through some of my courses and set up this whole in-home studio with multi-camera shoots that she just clicks a little button and switches the camera herself. Here's Fiona.
Well, taking as much of the potential air out of it as possible, I have just shown that we have got a viable option.
Switch the camera. Super
It's
cool.
still covering.
Yeah, she's got her overhead. Now, if you do any cooking shows,
And then
like
this
that,
is the one that had cling film.
she's just showing like different ways. She's looking for a way to wrap her brushes. Fun lady, does really, really well. So just a few examples of how you can take your authority and broadcast it using Facebook Live, doing episodic content, and having a simple home studio. The thing is with Facebook, it's not about having massive volumes of content. It's rather posting maybe one post every couple of days and going deeper with that, creating highly shareable content and ideally optimized for mobile consumption. So what does that mean? Mobile consumption means it's going to be not necessarily landscape. We're all used to broadcasting in landscape, but in actual fact, the format is better, and I only just put that in because my favorite guest. I love that wee cat. He's catching the mouse, catching the fish. The format that works best, a study by Social Insider, is vertical. Vertical videos on Facebook outperform landscape in engagement for all page sizes. Now then, vertical is multiple formats. Vertical is 9:16 is the full phone screen. That's your story, your immersive as they call it. But there's also what's called 4:5. So only makes me know that. Vertical 4x5, it's kind of like a tall square, and you can put a video in the middle and some text top and bottom. There's also 4x5, there's also 2x3. But 4x5 seems to do really well. Length, let me show you this next screen, next slide here. And I'm actually just going to put it all up at once and see you taking pictures. So I'll put it all up there for you. Short videos, there's variety. Because people say, oh, do short, do long. Guess what? There's a place for all kinds of videos. Short 5 to 15 seconds are what they put inside of other longer videos for ad breaks. Long form on Facebook counts as 3 minutes or longer. If you make a video 3 minutes or longer, you might qualify for ad breaks. But like I say, don't expect to make a lot of money just yet. We'll see. Facebook Live, maybe 18 to 25 minutes is ideal because that's about the length of a television episode. Right? What are you popping your hands?
Oh, that's the link that I used. So.
Oh, good. She's all excited. She's like something's got her excited. Yeah, good. So you're already doing video on Facebook?
Yes.
By that line? Yeah, she's on track. Yay. 10 minutes minimum if you do a live, but Facebook lets you go up to 4 hours on mobile and believe it or not, up to 8 hours on your computer. Now, I just said earlier about long form. I know my good buddy Jeff Walker, right, the king of the product launch formula. He does I've seen him do these marathons. Actually, Russell Brunson just did something, didn't he, with ClickFunnels? He's on live for hours on end, and then get all your, imagine that, getting all your affiliates and your JV partners hosting watch parties for you.